Is your homeschool full of arguing and tears this year? Maybe you just started and it's not really going like you thought. Are the kids not listening? Is everything kind of ending up in chaos? Well, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's not that you need a new curriculum. Maybe it's that you need a new foundation. We're going to talk about that today and tell you how you can fix that in your homeschool. Hi, I'm Brenda from the Homeschool Files, and this is a really important topic. I have a lot of notes today, and I'm going to apologize right now if I'm looking down more than I usually do, because I really want to cover this well and do a good job. If you are ending up in tears, more often than not, if your kids are ending up in tears, if it's just not going like it should, we can fix this, okay? Everything is not lost. Please don't panic. Please don't feel like you're failing. You're not, okay? There are some things that can be fixed, all right? So maybe you spent all your time researching the very best curriculum. Maybe you've added a new student to your homeschool this year. You know, maybe someone's gotten old enough to start school. Maybe you brought someone home from public school, and so it kind of changed your students a little bit, and your home has changed. Maybe you've had a major life change in your home. Something has happened that has shaken up what was working, or maybe you're brand new to it and it's just not working like you thought it was going to work. Okay? Either of those could be true, and either of those could be true at different times. But, you know, if you're frustrated, if there's crying, if there's arguing, if your kids aren't listening, this is what we need to do. Okay? We're going to talk about it today. The first thing I wanted to say, look, I knew I was going to do that. Have you seen the movie Nanny McPhee? It came out in like 2005, and it stars Emma Thompson. And it's at first you think, oh, it's a little bit of a Mary Poppins knockoff, but it really isn't. You may remember, if you have seen it, and if you haven't, you probably should see it. When she first arrives at Mr. Brown's house, he's played by Colin Firth. His 7 kids are completely out of control, like crazy out of control. And she is there to help him. So in that way, it's a little bit like Mary Poppins. But she asks him a few questions. She says, do your children go to bed when they are told? Do they say please and thank you? Very simple things like that.
Do they say please and thank you?
In what context?
And if you're watching the movie up to this point, you're like, oh, they need more than that. It is chaos at his house. And she's asking him about these tiny little things. What does that matter? Well, I'll tell you what it matters. Nanny McPhee had some wisdom. These are the things that are a foundation or a base for everything else, okay? We've got to establish a good working relationship between you and your kids. Homeschooling is just not the same as just being a parent, okay? You've been a parent for years. You've gotten them up, gotten them to school, whatever. Maybe y'all had a lot of time apart during the day. In the evenings, you know, you have your evening routine. But getting them to do their schoolwork is a whole different ball game. And anybody who had to be thrown into helping their kids with school during the pandemic can attest to that. This is a whole different relationship, teacher and student, not just mom and child. It's different, and it requires a different set of rules, a different working relationship, I guess I could say. So I'm going to ask you, do your children do as they are told? Like the first time when you ask them to do something. Do they come when they are called? Do they reply respectfully to you or to adults? These are the little questions that you need to ask yourself, because if you can't say yes to those things, then you have some work to do. We all have some work to do. And sometimes it's just a little touch up, like you've gotten lazy and bad habits have crept in and you're like, I didn't used to let this happen. How did this start happening? When did this start happening? No, we can fix this. But if you've never had that kind of good relationship established with your kids, it's going to take a little bit more work, but it is still doable. Okay? All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about, let me grab my note here. All right. It's not going to work unless you have a base and a working relationship with your kids. What do you need to do? Here are some very practical things, okay? Because I don't know the exact situation you're in, but believe me, I know it's weird. Okay, so first thing, pause the academics if you can, okay? this is a good time of year to kind of lighten up on the academics if you can't completely pause it due to your homeschool laws or whatever, but lighten up on the academics a little bit, because what I'm going to tell you is the most important thing you can teach your kids, and it's going to affect the rest of your year. It's going to affect next year. It's going to affect the rest of their school career, the rest of their life. This is the most important subject, okay? So go down to the bare basics if you have to, whatever's required by law. Drop the other stuff for a little bit. Let's get down to bare basics. If you can just stop all academics for a few weeks, maybe you can do that. That's up to you and your homeschool laws. Okay. Pause screen time. Greatly reduce screen time. Now, I am not going to stand here and say no screens, okay? And the reason I'm not going to say that is because I have been a parent at two very different times in history. My oldest child is 26, okay? My youngest child is 13. So here's what I know. I see older parents that are kind of done raising their kids saying, well, I never allowed screens. Here's the thing about that. When my 26-year-old was a kid, and if we said no screens, that meant we were going to turn off the TV, and she couldn't put a DVD or a VHS in, and we probably told her to put her Game Boy away. That was about it. That's what we had. Those were screens back then. My youngest child, and of course my middle child was kind of in both worlds there for a while, but my youngest child, if I say no screens, it's the TV, phones, iPad, computers, her Kindle, her Switch, her DVD player. What else? I mean, there's just crazy amounts of screens, and we use them. They're not all just for entertainment. Sure, I can turn some stuff off. Sure, I can say no this or that. But just to say no screens at all, she wouldn't be able to do school. We have quite a lot of curriculum that depends on screens and internet access. So just saying no screens is pretty hard these days, but greatly reduce screen time, especially the entertainment kind, okay? And there's a reason for that, and you know it, you've read the articles, you know it's true. It's going to be painful, it's going to hurt, it's going to punish you a little bit. Here's a little tip. One time my daughter, when she was younger, lost screen time, and I said, you can only watch documentaries or the How It's Made channel on YouTube. That way she had some screen time. She learned something, and I got a little bit of quiet. She wasn't following around talking my ear off. So, sometimes saying no screens punishes you too. It will be hard. So yeah, allow some screens, but be thoughtful about what you allow. Okay. And the only reason we're doing that is because we need to work on our relationship. And if we're all on our screens, it's not going to work. Okay. Next thing you need to do is focus on character of your child and the relationship you have with them. What do I mean by that? Okay. The obeying thing. Do they obey you? And not to sound old-fashioned and all of that, but there's two things about obeying. First of all is it's safety, okay? When I say, I need you to come to me, boy, you better come, especially if we're out in public. When my kids were younger, I remember being at a park one time, and they were playing. One was over here, one was over there. They were a little bit older. And I saw 3 adults, and they were all approaching from different directions. And I was just like, I don't like this. And I called the girls, come on, let's go, time to go. We had just gotten there, and they were a little bit hesitant, like, hey, you said we could play, But they came, thankfully, that time they came. And that's happened to a friend as well. And we really talked about it. And what we decided is that we needed to have a key word. Okay. So when we're out in public and I need them to come to me immediately, what I would say is, okay, guys, time to go get ice cream. And we decided on that code word, and if they came, then by golly, you better believe they were going to get ice cream. Sometimes we did it just for practice. Okay. Sometimes it was the real deal and I needed them to come to me right away for whatever reason. It is a safety concern. If your kids always say, but mom, you said we could play, but mom, if they're always arguing back, no. Even if it's just, hey guys, come here, and they come and you say, I just wanted to tell you blah, blah, blah. You can go back and play now. Okay. But when I call, you need to come. Very important. Very important. Really, even at home, it's important, okay? Think about all the things that can happen. I'm not trying to scare you or any of that, but think about all the things that can happen in a public place. When I say you need to come, you need to come. Okay. So work on that. Tell them it's very important for your safety that when I call you, you come. And if I say our special code word, by golly, you better come running. You might yell something like, hey, it's time to go see Uncle Rick. And they don't have an Uncle Rick. If they hear you say something weird like that, oh, that means mom wants us to come because she's saying something weird. We're going to go find out what it is. So you can decide on that in a family meeting, talk about that. So obedience is safety, okay? And that's the kind of, I'm not talking about hard nose, you must do as I say. I'm talking about, I need you to listen to me, okay? But secondly, it cuts down so much on your school day if they can listen the first time. I need you to go get your math book. And they turn around and they go get their math book. I mean, imagine how much faster you could finish school if that was what happened instead of, I don't want to do math. I want to hang out. Stop. Go get your math book. We don't have to do this all the time. And imagine how less you would have to repeat yourself during the day. Just imagine that. It's a great thing. If your kids are younger, here's how you do it. You say, we have not been listening to mom very well in this house. And when I tell you to do something, I really need you to do it right away. It's very important. Okay. And so we're going to play a game this week. I am going to come in at random and tell you something and you have to go do it. And I hope you remember and just kind of make it a fun game. I would wait until my older girls were watching TV and were absorbed in a television show. And then I would say, I need you to turn off the TV and go to your room. Well, the first time I did it, of course, they turned around. Oh, Mom, the show just started. And I just said, oh, my goodness, I thought you were going to remember. Oh, I'll try again later. And of course, they giggled and got back to their show. And I gave them another chance. Turn off the TV and go to your room. Bam, slam. They were in their room so fast. And of course, I praised them and rewarded them for that. That's exactly what we need to do. There's also a game you can play where you just tell them very silly things to do. And they don't have to know why. I need you to go to my bedroom, get my blue shoe, and put it on Dad's side of the bed. And then they go do that. It's good for their listening. They have to remember multi-step directions, which is extremely important. And then you go in and say, you put my shoe on Dad's side of the bed. You did it. Even though it was silly, you didn't ask me why. You just did it. That's great. Thank you. Now, let me just say a side note here. I am not telling them to, without question, obey every adult that talks to them. I am talking about the parent-child relationship, okay? They need to listen to you. All right, so giving them steps, 2 or 3 silly directions at one time, and then let them all have a turn. You better believe the younger kids are dying to play this game when they see the older kids getting to do it. Now, if you have much older kids, this is just a family meeting. Okay, Dad and I have noticed that y'all are not listening and responding the way that we need you to. You need to be quicker to do what I say because we're wasting a lot of our time. And they can understand this. Just have a good family meeting about it. Pay attention to what's going on. Praise their efforts and their improvements. Correct them when needed. Just get them on board with, hey, we're really trying to make school better for you and all of these things. And we want you to do well in life. Here's what we need you to do. Okay. So older kids, it's just several conversations ongoing. Younger kids, you can play the games. Okay. Either way about that. I had something else I was going to say. I can't remember now. All right. Another thing that you can do is to teach chores. Teach them. Okay, what is driving you crazy? That they leave their schoolwork all out at the end of the day, that they're not putting their lunch in the sink or, scraping it in the trash and putting their plate in the sink, that they're not unloading the dishwasher, not feeding the dog. What is it that they're not doing? Okay, we're going to have a chore checkup today. We're going to go around and we're going to all learn how to do this. All right, it is your job every day to feed the pet. Let me show you what that looks like, okay? I mean, you might have seen these funny videos of the mom taking them around the house and showing them how to replace the toilet paper, and they're all nodding and taking notes. Ha, very funny, I get it. But there is some truth in this. Take them around the house and show them how to do that chore, so that everyone knows when it's your turn to feed the dog, these are the steps, okay? Now you tell me what to do. Now you show me that you can do it. Great job, you did it. Okay, let's learn how to unload the dishwasher. That's much more complicated, okay? Here's how we do it. This is the steps that we take. You might have to show them more than once. Think about on-job training. Hopefully someone showed you how to do things more than once when you were being trained at your job. It is the same thing. If you're expecting them to do things around the house, they need to be trained, just like they have a new job. This is what I'm going to show you. When I say put your clothes away, This is what I mean. Step 1, you're going to carry them to your room, keeping them folded, right? Step 2, you're going to put your socks here. You're going to put your shirts here. Okay, so you can teach these things. Take time. Take several weeks. Okay, last week I showed you how to do it. Today I want you to show me, and I'm going to watch you. Okay, go ahead. They love this attention. It's great. Older kids maybe not, but they should be able to do this anyway. So teach that, and teach it with a good attitude. And you can be silly with this and show them. Let me show you mom doing the dishes with a bad attitude, and you're slamming dishes around and soap is flying and you're mad. Now let me show you what it looks like to do the dishes with a good attitude. And I'm singing and smiling and doing the dishes. Yes, this is going to hurt. You have to have a good attitude and you have to be the good example. But this is how we raise kids. If we want them to act a certain way, we have to show them how to act that way. So sit down and brainstorm. What are the things that are driving me crazy, that are making our family life chaos, that we want to fix? And tackle them one by one. Train, teach, handle this. It's more important than science right now. It's more important than their handwriting. It really is. You can pick those things back up in a little while. Teach this stuff. I am giving you permission to do this for part of your school day. It's going to make life so much better. All right, what else do you need to do? This is an important one. Teaching them to reply respectfully, acknowledge that they've heard you when they need a minute. Okay, so everything is not an emergency. I need you to come get your shoes out of the living room, please. All right, they're busy. They're trying to glue something together in their room, and if they let go, it's all going to fall. Now what do? They yell, okay, and then they don't come, and you're in the other room getting mad. I told you to come get your shoes and you didn't do it. Here's a breakdown of communication. So we need to teach that. Whenever your hands are full, you're busy, you're in the bathroom, you're in the middle of something, and you need a minute, I need you to acknowledge that you heard me and let me know. Mom, I heard that you want me to pick my shoes up. Can I please finish gluing this, and then I'll be there to do it? Sure, not a problem. Sometimes it is an emergency. Nope, don't have a minute. I need you to come do it right this second. You need to come move this stuff because the repairman's walking in the door. I need you to get your stuff out of the way. It's an emergency. But yeah, most of the time, sure. You can have a few minutes. Just don't forget to do it, please. Okay? And I don't mind reminding them on that. But that's a skill. They have to be taught how to say, I hear you, but I need a minute, okay? Can I please have a minute? I'm at the end of my book. I'm on the last page of this chapter. Can I please finish reading this chapter, and then I'll come unload the dishwasher, okay? So teach that. Another thing is that while you're doing all of this, don't just become a drill sergeant. This is not like, I'm going to fix this house. By golly, people are going to start listening to me. Stop. Nope. We're going to do this in fun. We're going to do this with a lot of eye-to-eye communication. Remember, we're not going to be on our screens all the time. That includes you, mom and dad, because you can't sit there scrolling your phone and barking orders and expecting your household to work better. It's just not going to work that way. This is a whole lot of, let's do this together. Come here, let me show you how to do this chore. Let me watch you do it. Great job. Come here and let me help you with this. Let's do this again. Let's go over it. Let's play this game. This is work. But it's so important and it's so good, okay? Have fun, laugh, praise them. These are the really important things that you need to do, okay? And when these things are good and they're doing far better at it, then you can start reintroducing the academic subjects, okay? You are in charge, and that's what you need to establish. But you need to do it by being a good example and building that relationship with your kids. Look, if you've never homeschooled before, this student-teacher relationship is weird. It's weird for your kids. They're used to you saying, grab your shoes, let's go. I got to go pick up the groceries. Come on, I got to get you to school. Come on, we got to go here, there. They're used to that kind. Time for bed, get in the bath, all that stuff. That's routine. That hasn't changed. But come here and sit down with me and read to me. Come here and let me see your handwriting. Let me grade this. Let's do this. Come on, we're going to listen to this world history. We're going to watch this video together. This is new, especially if they were in public or private school before. They're used to the teacher telling them what to do, but now you're the teacher? Weird. It is weird. It's a little strange, and it takes a little while to get your groove, but you can teach them the expectations. I'm your mom, but I'm also your teacher now. So when I'm talking, you need to listen. It's really important. I'm going to ask you questions and I need to make sure you've learned the material just like when you were in school. Okay? Smile at your kids a lot. Teach them what you want them to do. How much better do you think your school days are going to be when you take time to do this? A few weeks to do it? Man, it's going to make a huge difference. Maybe your kids are doing pretty well and they just need a little touch up in a few areas. You've gotten a little slack in telling them, hey, get busy. If you've never done this before, it's going to be a little harder. Like I said, you can totally do it. Older kids, family meetings, younger kids, examples, games, teaching, training, all the time. It's going to take a lot of things. Then you can add back in some screens and you can do some different things. Make sure you're doing things as a family, not just school, okay? You don't want to just give your attention to your kids while they're doing schoolwork and then say, okay, now we're done. Go, get away from me. I understand that. I'm kind of ready for my kids to get away from me too at the end of the school day, and they're probably ready to get away from me. But it can't be the only time that you're paying attention to your kids, okay? Make sure that as a family, you're also doing fun things. Maybe you're going to go out to eat. Maybe you're going to go to the park. Go for a walk in the evenings. You're a family all the time. School is just part of what you do. I hope this has helped. If you have some specific questions, please feel free to put a comment or email me. I'll put my email in the description. I am happy to help. These are just some general ideas. Take a lesson from Nanny McPhee. Handle those very simple things that are going to help your whole school year. This is a great time of year to brush up on that, and I hope you're having a great week.